In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can include yourself in the images you generate with Midjourney using a couple of simple processes. Now, there are two different methods we're going to cover in this video. The first one is essentially to generate yourself within the images, and the second is to take an existing photo and basically generate around that. And we're also going to look at how to retain some of the original resolution and detail when doing this. So that way, if you have high resolution images of yourself with a few additional tools, we can make sure that we retain that original resolution in the final image. But let's start with the first process. So I have this image here of an armored samurai, and what I want to do is I want to generate an image with my face inside of it. So I'm going to simply click to add this prompt up here because I want to get something similar to what we have here. But the first way for me to actually put myself into this image is quite obvious. I'm going to drag this photo of me in as an omni reference. Because I'm using version 7, I can add myself as an omni reference. And then I can submit. And now I have these images here of me as an armored samurai. But one thing to consider is the fact that if I want to restyle, or if I feel like it's just relying on me too much, like with this image here has my hair instead of the actual armor, I can use the same process again with the omni reference and adjust the omni weight. At the moment it's at 75. The default is actually 100. But if I bring it down to say 50, I must first remove it from the prompt if it's up there, and then submit. And by dialing that strength down, I think we've got some better results here that more closely resemble the prompt whilst still looking like me. So that's covering a photographic style. So that's pretty straightforward. But what if we want to change the style to something else that's not photographic or just completely different? Well, there's a few more steps we can take in order to make sure that that happens the way we want it to. But sometimes when we are restyling our images, we don't always get the result we're after. So if I type in a prompt such as a black and white sketch of a crazy man, add in myself as an omni reference, and I have the default strength of 100, if I submit that, what it creates is still actually quite good. You can see that looks like me, that looks like me. This one's a little more stylized, and this one is a little too close to me and doesn't really look as much like a sketch as I'd like. So you could possibly move on if you're happy with these images. However, if I use this again, if I want it to be a little bit more stylized again, try halving that omni strength to 50 or even less, submitting, and apart from this bottom photo down here, we've been able to loosen up the style more and actually get something that looks a little bit more closer to our prompt. And of course, you can continue to decrease down to 25 to take things to another level. But if you keep lowering too much to say an omni weight of 10, then it starts to look a little bit less like you and more just like a crazy drawing. But don't forget, we can also reverse this and bring that omni strength up to something like, say, 275. So it ends up looking a lot more like me. But take it too far, like a weight of 500, and it starts to add me and the image, which is not really what we're after. So going too high tends to split things off a little bit, although if you have a use for this, this could be useful to you as well. And naturally, you can experiment with almost any style here. Again, lowering the weight allows the style to creep in more, so you will need to, one, identify the style in your prompt, and then play with the omni weight until you get the desired effect. So some styles will be easier than others depending on how close they are to your photo, but other styles that are radically different will require you to adjust a fair bit, like this Simpsons prompt here. Now, this process also works quite well with mood boards. As you can see here, I have this image of a bearded man using my Gigapixel dystopia mood board. If I were to simply use this prompt, however, I drag my image in as an omni reference once again and submit that. And with the same process of adjusting the weight, we can eventually land on something that looks like what we're after. And mood boards are a really fun and really convenient way to take more control over the style of images like these. But also don't forget that at any given time with any of these images, you can go into Midjourney, head down to animate and create an AI video pretty simply and easily. So this is the power of a massive tool like Midjourney. You have so many options of what you can do with that image once you've generated it. However, if you're having trouble getting yourself in that image, or maybe you have an existing image you want to pop your own face into, unfortunately, the omni reference doesn't work in the editor. But we can use an external tool like a face swap tool in order to make that happen. Pixie AI has a free alternative where you can simply drag and drop in your two images, hit swap, and it will generate an image like what you see on screen here. So that's another little quick fix if you have an existing image you would like to pop yourself into. Now, I did mention that omni reference doesn't work in the editor, but there is still a little bit you can do with the editor if you want to sort of take a bit of a different route with the photo you've taken. So if you wanted to instead use the same framing and the original image as a base for another image, we can use retexture, and I'll show you how that works. But if you want to keep the same framing, another thing you can do is come over here to edit, then drag your image in, and by going up to retexture, you can actually just type in a prompt such as a bearded man in the style of Zdzisław Besinski, submit that, and keeping the same framing, we're able to generate some unique images. But also, again, we can come back to our original, just simply type in a bearded man, and again, choose from one of our mood boards, like Desert Surrealism, submit that, and then we can essentially restyle that exact image. We can keep the framing. It will maybe start to lose some of the facial features, but this might not be a big problem if this is the type of effect you're after. And as you can see from the prompts and images on screen here, it's a very versatile method for getting a different and unique style added to your images. But so far, all we've done is actually generated images of ourselves or restyled images of ourselves. What if we have a photo existing that we want to actually edit with AI and bring it up to a whole new level while still retaining that original image resolution? Well, I'm going to cut through a bit more of a complicated process, although it's not overly complicated, but it does involve a few tools in order to make that happen. I have this one here of me, and it is 6,000 by 4,000. And if I combine this with other tools, I can actually work on this image in Midjourney, bring it in, and still retain all the original detail by kind of layering them together. So one thing we need to consider is that Midjourney doesn't produce very high resolution photos. It's definitely not at 6,000 by 4,000. It doesn't even quite meet half of that. So that's why we need these little extra tools to make this happen. But first, let's turn to Midjourney and look at the first step of the process, which is creating the image that we want to create before we get into this other process. If I drag this image into the editor, it comes in, but it's not going to be at the full size. But that's okay. What we're going to do is make some edits. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use Smart Select, and I'm going to select myself piece by piece and erase the background. Do a couple of touch-ups, and I'm going to add in a background and make some edits to me and slowly transform this image into something that I would like to see. And it's a simple case of selecting the areas you want to change, typing in a prompt. Sometimes you can have a bit of difficulty with it, but keep trying and just make these little edits as you go. You can have a lot of fun. I've added in a bit of circuitry into this, and I'm going to add a little alien monster staring at me. So I've been able to create this kind of sci-fi image using the Midjourney editor with my photo. Now, if you're not quite sure how to use the editor, I have a few videos, including a complete tutorial on how to use that Midjourney editor. I'll pop links to those videos in the description below, so you can check that out and get a full grasp of that step we just covered. But we've got our image, we're going to download it now so that we can start the upscaling and layering process. And so finally, after I've added all my edits, I've ended up with this image here. There's still a lot of me in there. And if I upscale to gallery, and the image we get, whilst upscaled, is still nowhere quite as big as our original photo. It's only 2688 by 1792, whereas our original photo was more than double that at 6,000 by 4,000 pixels. Also, it seems to have smoothed out some of the areas of my skin and I've lost a little bit of detail, but overall the image looks pretty good. Luckily, we can still fix this. And the first step is to download this image. Once I have it, I'm going to drag it into Topaz Gigapixel, or any upscaler you prefer to use is fine. Now, instead of just scaling it by a certain amount, I'm going to come down to dimensions over here. I'm going to go to pixels, and my original photo was 6,000 by 4,000. So I'm going to make the width 6,000 by 4,000 to match that resolution. We're still going to have to fix up some of these skin details, but otherwise, we're going to go to redefine realistic, and I'm going to go subtle creativity and do a quick little preview. Not too concerned about how I look here, but I'm going to just sort of select this part. And I think I like the look of that. So I'm going to upscale this entire image by coming down and clicking export, saving my upscale, and then I'm going to come back in about 10 or 15 minutes to pick up where we left off. Now, depending on how good your computer is, it can take a while to upscale using the generative upscales in Topaz Gigapixel, but also you can use whatever upscaler you prefer. It doesn't have to be Topaz, that's just what I use. And like I said, there's a link in the description if you want to check that out, but you can either take your time, walk away, come back and finish the process later if it's going to take a long time, or you can actually just upload to the cloud if you have a cloud account and it'll upscale much quicker. And once you have that upscale, we take that and the original image and we can bring them into Photoshop to try and layer them together. And now we have our upscale photo. We've been able to add a bunch of detail to this image, but on top of that, the skin still looks a little plasticky on my face. This is one of the reasons why it's good to retain that original photo and blend them together. So now we're going to open up Photoshop and make that happen. And that's where I open up my original photo. And because it's the same resolution, if I drag this one in and open it up separately, I can actually copy and paste to get it in the exact same position. If I drag and drop or place, it may try to shrink it or change a few things, but by copying and pasting, I get the exact same position. I can switch between the two. But what we can do now is zoom in on the face. And with our layers over here, I'm going to create a mask. And then what I'm going to do is click on this mask, make sure that I have my black selected, and then with my brush tool, I can make it a bit bigger and I can paint in the original photo. Now, I highly recommend take a bit of care with this, but also maybe consider softening the edges a little bit so you can get a nice blend from the AI photo to your original photo. So if I go through and paint all that in, now the photo actually looks like me. However, if there's a few things I want to fix up, like maybe there's a few parts of the actual photo I don't like maybe some of the dots or the redness around my nose, is I can always switch back and kind of just paint those areas a little bit and clean them up. But now I have a photo that has the original detail along with a very detailed AI render, and I've been able to do that using my own photo and including that photo in the actual final product. And so now I have a photo that is 6,000 by 4,000 pixels, which has all of my original facial details apart from the stuff I don't want, as well as a very highly detailed alien looking at me, and it's a great way to kind of blend reality with AI so you get the best of both worlds. So that is just a process I think maybe not all of you are interested in, but there's definitely some of you guys out there who would be, considering that you're working as professionals or trying to create high resolution art or anything that you're trying to share out there to the world. So I hope that that has helped you kind of discover a couple of the different options when including yourself in your AI art. So that is the video for today, guys. And remember, there are links in the description below to other tutorials and parts of this process if you want to dive a bit deeper. Also links to the tools, so check that out. But otherwise, that's the video for today, and if you found it useful, please consider giving the video a like. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.